There we are. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the March 13th, 2024 Planning Commission meeting. It is 5:32. Start with a call to order with a roll call. I am Jacob Gray for District 3, and we'll go around the table.
I'm Kate Darlington from District 3.
Oh, Tony Motts, District 3.
Marty Hupto, District 2, Surface Creek.
Oh, you lost your voice.
Yeah.
David Merrick, District 3, Glenmore.
Victoria Kelly, District 2.
Wayne Garner, District 2. Todd Keane, District 1. Matt Clark, District 1.
Great. The Board of County Commissioners appointed new members to the Planning Commission, or new member on March 5th. This will be a time for introduction with the new member. Tony, welcome. Want to give us a little 30 seconds about yourself?
Small contracting business in North Park, been there for, 30 years. About it.
Sounds good. Do we have any changes to the agenda?
No.
No change. Great. Just to go over kind of what we're doing today. Obviously, you saw on the agenda, we're going, doing our annual meeting, election of officers. Just before that, I wanted to talk about kind of moving forward with the PC, kind of what our priorities are. I've been thinking about that, talking with some of the commissioners. First and foremost, the big two tangibles would be, obviously, the maps need looked at and changed. And they want Planning Commission to kind of tackle that. So, once we get through elections, I think we'll kind of open it up, see if we have any bright ideas. We'll talk with staff, but that's kind of the first big tangible. The second tangible from the new LUC. Hi, Cindy. Is the change from UGA to Res 2.5 or 1. And so that'll also be kind of us looking at maps, probably with GIS. That may even involve some conversations with municipalities to go over, what makes sense. I think there was talk at our last big, draft of the LUC. We talked about wanting to notify those folks that were going from UGA to Res 1 or Res 2.5. And so I think that'll be a directive from PC to staff is to notify everyone who was in that overlay who's going to be getting zoned. And there's a possibility that we could ask them if they prefer one or the other. Again, we can chat about this after elections. The third one, which is a little more maybe up in the air, particularly because we don't have a in-house director at the moment. We have the interim Robbie, the greatest of all time. Would be to relook at our master plan. We're going on, this will be year 6 since the last one. And it may behoove us to start that process, though we can talk about how that's done. So those are the three that are kind of in my mind. The other things would be further edits to the LUC, probably section by section. Obviously water, there's some sticky subjects there, and I don't think everyone left happy about that. So we may reopen that at some point and try to find something that works for everyone. With the solar moratorium going away, there has been an ask to look at cumulative impacts. I don't exactly know how we'll do that at the PC, but we can try. And then some of the other placeholder things that are in the LUC, like impact fees and things like that. Lastly, before my spiel is up, there's a mileage sheet for anyone who wants to get reimbursed for mileage. I will have Kate send that out to all Planning Commission members. It's been somewhat known about, but the county does reimburse mileage if you want to get paid for driving down here. So with that, we will go into the election of officers. I will preside over the election until I am no longer chair. So with that, I would open the floor for nominations. The way it's going to go, we'll open the floor. If you want to nominate someone, we'll take a second. And we'll give that person an opportunity to talk. And then if there's another nomination for folks, if there's a contested election, we can do a raise your hand vote and we'll see who comes out the victor. With that, I'd like to nominate Kate Darlington to run for chair. Would there be a second to that?
I would second that.
Great. Give Kate the opportunity to address herself.
Hi. Jake asked me to run for chair. He is feeling ready to step down this year with some other priorities on in his life. I feel like I've learned a lot the last few years about how this commission works, about the priorities of the county, and about how to run a productive meeting or how I would like to run productive meetings. I think that I have a pretty good ability to to be a mediator, to be a sounding board and kind of reflect back what the commissioners feel on individual levels and as a group. And yeah, I'd enjoy the opportunity if you'll have me.
You gonna promise a chicken in every pot?
That's Jake's department. He's the chicken grower.
Are there any other nominations for chair? Okay, hearing none. I don't think we need to vote.
Everyone just raise their hand so I know you like me or something. Thanks, guys.
With that, I will slide aside and your new chair will run the rest of the election.
All right. We have to- okay, I
Change
have
your
to-
name, it's one or the other, right?
All right, here we go. With that, we will open up the election for the vice chair. Does anyone have any nominations? You can nominate yourself if you want to.
Would you like to expand on the vice, I mean, I.
On the role of the vice chair?
If you would expand on that a little bit, I would. Maybe it's right
You gotta
there, but
Yeah, you gotta sit up here in this comfy chair.
You have to sit next to me.
Yeah, you get to sit next to Kate. The role of the vice chair is to run the meeting if the chair is not present. There are occasions when the vice chair is looped into some communication about planning, planning the agenda, some background stuff that maybe the rest of the commissioners don't participate in as much. It's a fairly minimal role. I think it's just being ready to run a meeting if the chair should not be able to be there. Any other nominations? Cindy, would you like to give us your platform speech?
platform speech. I would say that one of my abilities is that I can listen to all sides. I think I can give a very level broadcast of kind of what we're all trying to accomplish. I have had the last couple of years of having an idea of how the meetings are run and such. I do feel I've gotten much better at knowing kind of like how it runs, as in being able to vote something in or etc. And I think I get along with everybody here. I think I try to listen to everybody's ideas and nominations, and I'd be honored to give it a try and see if I can't compliment you.
Woo! Unless there's anyone that wants to run against Cindy, I think we could also say, here, you win.
Do I should I get played and have to move, or is that how this works? I get to leave reign?
really are here.
You-
Jacob down here with the peon.
I think we're all the same thing. We can just sit in different chairs.
Thank you, so
Thanks, Wade. Ready?
And one of you guys have to.
Moving.
Oh,
Yeah, you're right. Nice try.
this is the little chair you're supposed to move. That's great. So you can take this chair.
Brenda knows me quite well, so
Yeah,
it
yeah. And go.
is fine. Okay.
All right, we have no meeting minutes to approve. We have no public hearing items on our agenda. The next thing is a department report. I'm sure that the commissioners are wanting to hear from you, Robbie, potentially about the
Yeah.
situation with the director and if we have. Is there a situation?
I think this is where we sing that song, Welcome Back, Mr. Cotta.
Yeah,
Okay.
starts with a new theme once again.
SBT member.
Yeah, as many of you, as I emailed all of you, Austin resigned March 4th of this year. And again, we do not have a planning director. We do have the position advertised again. We are looking at the department as a whole once again to see, what is needed long-term, where do we need to fill gaps? We absolutely know we need additional capacity, just given the workload that's come in before the land use code was adopted and now even more after the 2024. So it's out there. If you know anyone that has an inkling of interest, please send them my way. We had the position open for quite some time after Carl left and before Austin was hired, but Austin elected to resign, so we'll continue. I'll be happy to answer questions that I can.
Can you elaborate on what happened? There seemed to be a lot that changed between February 29th and March 4th. When he was here at our last meeting.
Austin resigned March 4th.
Almost forgot where this room was at.
I guess unless anyone else has any other questions, I'm curious for staff. We have our meeting schedule in front of us in terms of what's on the docket for projects coming up. Do we anticipate having a meeting next time, or how full is our agenda looking at this point?
I mean, as of right now, you guys are probably gonna have. I'd say 3 to 4 applications that are gonna come before you. Some are subdivisions, some are the hidden pit, gravel pit that you guys saw once before. That will be coming back. And then there's another conditional use permit. We're just waiting on the applicant, so,
But our normal March 27th meeting is not happening, was my understanding. That was,
so you guys, this is just a draft. This is,
Right.
you guys need to figure out if you wanna keep this schedule, if you wanna keep the twice a month, if you wanna keep the Wednesdays, if you.
I failed already. I forgot that item on our agenda. We'll go back to it. Or I guess we're there now, but as a commission, we need to decide if we want to adopt this schedule for the rest of the year.
so it's once a month.
We could say we only want to meet once a month. We could leave the second open for if there's projects on the table to work on, or whether those are actual hearings that we need to hear, or other things that we're kind of tasked with. I guess my opinion would be to leave this, the second and the fourth Wednesday on the table.
Mhm.
It's pretty easy to cancel a meeting if we don't have it, but giving the public as much possibility to move their applications through as quickly as possible seems like a good idea to me.
Is there ever a situation where if we don't have a large docket, let's say like the 27th, let's say we had somebody would it behoove us if we had something else that was a smaller, to move them in the same date, like April 10th, instead of maybe separating them, or is that or do you just do the first come, first serve open date when you schedule?
I mean, the application has to be complete, and we have to have all the documents required to bring it to your commission, so.
But
Okay.
there has been time when, you know, when we knew it was gonna be chickens, it was just chickens that night.
Right, right,
So,
right, I get that.
Yeah,
When you know it's gonna be more of
Right.
a larger group than it could just.
Mhm.
So right now, we don't have anything on the 27th. I think last time I emailed with the two of you, correct, at this point?
Not at this.
Not at this point. Now, what about meetings that a lot of times we coordinate with the county commissioners themselves? Are those in additional meetings, or do we try to coordinate them on the same type of a meeting date? What do you?
you've done both.
You've
At
done both.
times you met earlier or later with the
Okay.
county commissioners, other times it's been a separate date.
Thank you.
The only outstanding item that's left for you to provide input on is that housing study that Carl had started. The contractor still needs that individual worksheet filled out by each of you,
Mhm.
but it's one of those issues where I think it'd be better if it was just more one-on-one versus the group, but I'll leave that up to you. The contractor just needs more detail. It seemed like last time you guys spent quite a bit of discussion, but I'm not sure we gave much input.
What's on that worksheet?
I can email that to you and then you guys would have time to look at it and then we
Yeah.
can go, you can decide from there as far as how you want to provide the input. He just revised that worksheet this week when I was trying to figure out exactly what was going on with it.
Great. Yeah, I'd be curious to see that worksheet and then maybe give ourselves a couple weeks, you know, at home to fill it out, and
Okay,
if we think that it's valuable to have another in-person discussion with the whole commission, or to submit those worksheets to the contractor. Or if we want to submit them first and let them come back to us with some further questions or further discussion items. All right,
Can I make a motion?
So I'll throw a wrench in this.
yeah,
Okay, sure.
I have another Wednesday night meeting once a month.
Is it the second or fourth, or does it happen to fall in between?
It just kind of depends on whenever they want to do it, but I can meet with them and give them this schedule and we can try to do
Maybe one of the other
it.
Wednesdays?
Yeah,
yeah, it seems like. I don't know if this is accurate or not, but the kind of the second Wednesday has been our primary meeting maybe, and the fourth Wednesday is reserved for. Yeah, overflow or special projects potentially would be a good way for, you know, staff to think about scheduling and for us to think about our commitment.
That's not a bad idea, because the fourth always tends to fall closer to our holiday schedule too.
True.
And that
yeah.
always seems to be something where we tend to not have that fourth meeting because of the holidays.
I would like to propose that we move to a once a month
Once a month.
schedule. It seems like, you know, especially here lately, we've had so many meetings canceled where
Mhm.
in your mind, you have to be here on the second and fourth Wednesday, and then you find out like the Monday before, like, oh, you don't have to be here that
Right.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
I think if we were to keep the second Wednesday as as our meeting that we are committing to every single month. And then during that meeting, if work dictates that there's work available or needed, that we have a second meeting that month, then you know 2 weeks in advance, okay, we have
Sure.
another meeting, and it's definitive. We're not waiting to see if there's something on the table, we know.
Okay.
But if there isn't, then it's like, all right, see you guys in a month.
Mhm.
I just think that makes more sense, and it kind of helps free up. I mean, I also sit on another board, it just, it
Mhm.
makes scheduling a little bit easier.
What about, Todd, if we propose the second Wednesday, but we also maybe at one of our other meetings, we potentially either met a little bit later, earlier, and we kind of discussed to see how that's, if we're fitting everybody in, instead of pushing them off maybe to the following month. What about if we left it a little open, say, okay, let's go to the second Wednesday, but if it looks like we're seeing a lot more come on our platform, that we would propose potentially to add that second Wednesday on, or something like that. That way we don't put ourselves in a corner, and then all of a sudden we have a bunch of applications and they just can't seem to get in in our rotation for several months into the future. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there.
That's true. There's a lot of consternation about how long it takes to get something through.
That's all I was thinking, Matt.
Bureaucracy.
Like Todd said, if we know that second Tuesday, if we know we gotta be here 2 weeks from now.
Yep.
Then we know that second Tuesday and we're here 2 weeks from now.
How does that feel with everybody? Would that give you enough time, Hardy, with your schedule?
Yeah, I just wanna make sure that people are, and, right now, obviously it doesn't matter, but if they start stacking up, we need to be here to get it.
Sure.
That's what I'm thinking, you know.
But yeah, either pick the one after and the other, doesn't really matter, we either cancel it or we add it in. I don't really care as long as you got 2 weeks, I think it should be good. But
What do you think?
I'm fine with that. I mean, it seems like right now, in terms of what Kate said, it, you know, is coming to us. Once a month seems like plenty of opportunity, and without direction from a director on other specific
Mhm.
projects to work on. Let's,
Let's.
I will try to remember, you know, on our weekly, or, you know, on our regular agenda to kind of check in with staff. And just have that, a conversation kind of each time, where are we at? Do we need to add a meeting?
Okay.
Is there any, if we can always vote back, you know, vote a second meeting back in.
So bringing that into fruition right now, we're 2 weeks out from the next meeting or so. So do we want to say now that since we have nothing on our agenda for the 27th, that we propose our next meeting would be April 10th?
I will actually be out of town on the 27th, so unless you want to run your first meeting.
But if we
with
don't
nothing
have
on the
anything-
agenda,
I say we just go to the 10th. I say since we're all sitting here, we don't have anything on our agenda. Why don't we go to the 10th? And then just see how that goes. How does everybody feel about that? I do.
Adopt schedule, a once a month schedule.
It's good for our meetings being the second Tuesday,
Second Wednesday.
second, so let's do second.
Starting April 10th.
Let's do second.
Everybody in favor?
I need a second of.
Oh, second, sorry.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes.
So we will not have a meeting then on March 27th, but we will have our first meeting then on the 10th of April, starting the second Wednesday.
Yeah,
Yeah, you'll probably have one on the 10th.
Probably the gravel pit.
That's right.
If they have their
If
stuff
they
by
get
then.
their information, it'll be,
So they've actually hired Lewicki and Associates to help them with that process, so.
Okay.
It should be in order.
Okay.
but we can anticipate kind of probably a longer meeting and a single hearing item. Okay.
Okay.
Anything else from staff, department?
so we'll
Any
get
other
a training set up, Tony, for you. Just department wise, but also we'll do the additional Department of Local Affairs training for planning commission members, so that'll be open up to everybody. That'll be just part of the onboarding.
Will that be like an online thing?
The DOLA thing, yeah.
I'm sorry, who seconded on the schedule?
Matt did.
All right. Any commissioner comments, requests, or referrals? With that, I think our meeting is over. Adjourned. Might be the fastest meeting on record.
That's right.
We were done before 6.
Yeah, I was. Wasn't